I I don't think I have any words, any visible words to describe my disappointment. I So if you guys know about COPPA, you're probably realizing why you see a Hat in Time footage in the background here. Because I believe that the way they made it is so stupidly vague that a rated teen game like Hat in Time, where you see here, is clearly meant to be horror. Clearly meant to be horror here. Like Subcom 4 is places with fucking nooses. Oh, I put the F word there, by the way, but that's not gonna matter after I go through this. But with nooses, they're gonna consider this kid friendly, even though Hat in Time is rated teen. So, if you guys don't know, if you guys are like not in the loop, basically the FTC has this law called COPPA. It's been around for a while. It updates every 10 years, and it's updated recently. It's going to update this January 1st, 2020, I believe, at least, because people like parents were complaining that, oh, my kids are not seeing content I want them to see. So instead of yelling at their kids for being kids and telling them what videos to watch and what not to watch, instead they think, nah, let me not be a parent. I'm gonna have the content creator be the parent, and that's laughable. What is that? Okay, so as stupid as it is, we have to accept it because it's officially the law. Well, of course, there's a petition, and hopefully with this petition they change their mind. But we're going to use our pessimistic minds at the moment and assume they're not going to accept it. So, COPPA basically gives you two choices. You have to either say your video is made for kids, or mark it as not made for kids. But that's not the end of it, because if COPPA even feels like it actually is made for kids, they're not going to care. They're not going to care whatsoever what you wrote down, and they're just gonna say, okay, this is made for kids, we're finding you, and we're making your video made for kids. Which, mind you, if your video is made for kids, people do not get notifications. They're not able to search it up. You lose 90% of your ad revenue, and it's so dumb. I'm at an actual loss for words here. So, one of their things is that you can't have, if you have bright and vibrant colors, that will be assumed kid content, as I said earlier. So, with this Hat in Time love right here, I'm guessing it's just going to be assumed for kids. Like, because I have this here. Like, and that's from, like, this is, so, if you, so if you're thinking about, if you understand this now, you're probably thinking, what's the word I'm looking for? Haven't fully understood it, you're probably thinking, okay, I just need to drop an F-bomb and I'm fine, right? Wrong. You're not fine at all. Because it's gonna be COPPA, who are, from their ages, I doubt they're even internet savvy. Like, the words they use to assume kid-friendly content looks like they're trapped in the 90s. Like, and, like, they're gonna see, I doubt they're gonna watch the video because it's over 1 million channels on YouTube. Over 1 million. Like, I can't fully blame them in that case because they don't have the time to look at every single video. But at the same time, that's not a good thing, because since they don't have the time to look at every single video, they're just gonna look at through your thumbnails, your titles, the footage being shown, and they're gonna assume it's for kids or not, based on if it meets their requirements. And that's gonna start a lot of court trials where we have, okay, so your footage here had a game that looks like it's for kids, so we assume that kids would watch this, and you have to point out, but I said cum stain in my video, and that made you wonder, would that be enough? Like, would that honestly be enough? Would they just assume, well, you only say it at this part, so a kid might not even fall for it? Like, are they going to just assume the mind of a kid here? Like, it's it's so just God. It honestly makes no sense. I basically now have to watch over these parents' children. I need to hope that, when they see my content, because my content, I will say right now, is not for kids. Like, I can assume that kids are going to watch it, but it's definitely not like made specifically for kids. There's cursing in it. Like, even in videos where there's not cursing in it, there's at least suggestive themes. There's like talks about murder and stuff. Like, it can't be for kids. My stuff would be at the worst. Like, my like most childish videos would be at the worst E+10. Like, if we go by the gaming system, the rest of my stuff is teen. Like, the closest thing I could think of that's for kids is my Blue's Clues Dat tribute video, which I guess I can mark that for kids because that honestly is like just a tribute video, and it's like 3 minutes long. It's not the end of the world if that right there doesn't get anything, but no, it's not only me, because let me like not sound like the self-centered person here. It's a lot of channels. Like, let's talk about Alfred real quick. Love the man, Alfred. He mainly does Smash content. Lots of kids love Smash, and lots of children watch Alfred's channels. Like, I'm pretty sure majority of Alfred's audience are kids. So is all of his stuff now going to be marked for kids too? Even though he makes clearly suggestive themes, does some curses in them, has very, again, suggestive themes, but I guess because he's playing Smash Brothers, majority of his audience is children. It has to be for kids. He had to have made a channel for kids, right? And that's exactly the problem. Why are we assuming that he's automatically making his content for kids? Why are we assuming these are automatically being made for kids? I can tell you what we can assume without a shadow of a doubt is made for kids. Toy review channels, those children animation videos, the song videos like the Johnny videos, stuff like that, those are definitely made for kids. Like, I can't see an adult watching that. And to go back on the toy reviews thing, I'm talking like where you see the person's clearly talking in a way that he's making it for kids. And also, most definitely, those prank gone wrong channels, those are definitely made for kids. But like, what if you're a Fortnite YouTuber? What if you're that Fortnite YouTuber that your videos is, every time I kill someone, my girlfriend takes off a piece of clothing? What about those? Are those going to be technically made for kids, even though they don't all follow that? Like, that's the thing too. It shouldn't be completely based on what the content in the video is. It should also be what the person's saying, what the actions of the YouTuber during that video is, and it also should be the way he's speaking in the video. Like, you can, like, it's not hard to tell someone's tone to see that they're speaking primarily to kids. If you're speaking in a well-educated manner while reviewing a game, reviewing its very in-depth things, you should most definitely not think it's made for kids, because kids are not going to kids don't care about stuff like background of how the game was made, which company made it. They care about is the game fun or not. That's all they care about. So what I'm saying is that this should definitely be a lot more less vague, way less vague. That's my main thing. It's way too vague. They said like, cartoons are for kids. Well, so if I make a Family Guy video, if I review Family Guy completely, is my channel now for kids because I'm talking about Family Guy because it's a cartoon, even though Family Guy is clearly not for kids? If I had a clip in one of my videos where I had Eric Cartman from South Park, is South Park for kids now? Like, I know kids watch South Park, but they're not supposed to. like, that's kind of a thing of South Park. Like, they're not supposed to watch South Park. But is South Park made for kids now? Because it's a cartoon? And, like, I think the hugest problem here is FTC is ignoring the fact that adults like a lot of the stuff that they're saying are only for kids. There's a bunch of kids that love Hat in Time, but there's a bunch of adults that love Hat in Time too, because it's a return back to form to the old 3D platform collectathons. It's a fun game with like very funny dialogue and stuff like that. So of course adults gonna love it. I believe what the FTC should do is restrict kid content, not family friendly content. See, there's a difference. I, for one, do a video reviewing Hat in Time. I talk about interesting natures. I don't say any curses for the entire video, but I'm clearly talking in an adult-like tone. Like, I'm talking sophisticated almost. So, from that alone, that should, like, already prove that I'm not primarily going for kids. I'm going for everyone. And that's the problem here. They're not taking that into account. When I first heard about this, I was like, okay, this doesn't sound too bad depending on what the context is. Because if it's just removing kid toy channels or those animation channels that shouldn't be for kids in the first place because they show gross stuff in it, and like Johnny's or stuff like that, yeah, okay, that's perfectly fine. Because I personally feel like they're cheating the system by even making videos like that. And they're getting so popular because they're appealing towards demographic of kids. That's fine, because that's actually a problem for YouTube. That's what a lot of YouTubers themselves consistently complain about with channels. Channels like that. Pranks Gone Wrong channels, where they're clearly trying to go towards kids. Even though they technically, you can't even give them for kids too, because just one of them were just drowning Peppa Pig in fucking bathwater. So, even then, that's like... So, I'm sorry that this is the second talk attack where we have to reach into this, but this is just a huge problem. It needs to be vocalized more. This is not okay. This is not a good thing. Now, I don't know if I said this earlier in the video or not, because I have bad memory, but I know someone's going to come here saying, oh, well, you're just talking about this because you're going to be losing money during this. Well, you know what? You're perfectly right. That is a real reason for me to worry. Because this is my job, and I want to not lose money during my job. But take this into account. I don't get officially paid yet. So by all technicalities, I'm not losing money from this, because I'm not even getting paid yet. I'm still community fucking service on YouTube, because I still haven't reached the watch time requirement. So take that into account real quick. And even then, this is a problem for every channel, not just me. Shit, my content, I can like make a good case for why my content isn't primarily for kids. I can make a case for why my content is for teens. But like, it's just beyond comprehension why they think something like stuff this vague is okay. Now, there is a petition that you can sign where they'll take a look. You can give your public voice and opinion on it. I fully recommend you guys do that, because obviously this is a lot worse than just a single content creator. Think about it real quick. Via this, no one's going to want to make child content anymore. No one. Why would you, unless you're doing YouTube for completely free, why would you ever do content that's going to take 90%, you lose 90% of your original funds, when you can do more mature content which doesn't do that? Why would you ever do that? And that sucks, because kid content in this context is also family friendly content, and there's a lot of fun family friendly channels I like watching. Like I watch it with my little siblings. Like Corey's Kenshin, he's a really good family friendly content creator. But due to what COPPA's doing, we can lose stuff like that. As I think I said it earlier, if it was my decision and I had to go through this, again, it should be kid content. Child-specific content should be banned, where no adults would find any enjoyment out of it. I mean, like, completely the average, like, adult. The average adult that grew up playing on this NES, who's a huge video game fan, the average adult that goes on the internet to watch videos, that even they wouldn't enjoy that content. That is what should be registered as kid content, not family-friendly content. Like, if I talk about Mario 64, like, that's an amazing game. It's not only kids that like that game. Hell, kids of this generation probably don't even fully know what Mario 64 is since it's on an old console. I will bet my right eye that kids do not watch that more adults know about Mario 64 than kids do. Now, I might be wrong on that, and if I am, I'm gonna miss my eye. But that's just an example, though. Like, there's games that are rated for children, but children of this age don't even know about those games because they're cult classics that just regular people love. So are we gonna lose those now? What about the Zelda series, like Majora's Mask? I would definitely not say Majora's Mask is purely for kids. There's a lot of adult themes in it. I believe, as I said earlier, there should be a lot more content to it. So the 3 guidelines I think that because I think the petition, you can write down your own opinion on it. So I think 3 guidelines that should be updated is: 1, is your content viewable for all ages? Will adults get as much enjoyment out of it as kids would? If so, it should be perfectly fine and shouldn't be marked under for kids only. 2, does your content have any cursing in it? Because if it does have cursing in it, it should most definitely not be marked for kids. Because by that point, it's PG-13 or like TV-13 or TV-14 or rated, like, it's like at best parental guidance in parental guidance, which should not be kid content. Then 3 is the content of the games you're playing. Because going back to Corey's Kenshin, he plays a lot of horror games. A lot of them. Where there's, like, he shows the blood and everything. He just only censors out the cursing and everything. So for channels like those, like, he still shows the blood and everything. But that shouldn't automatically be considered only for kids. Because obviously there's blood in there and there's a lot of imagery that shouldn't be shown to kids. So channels like that, those 3 things right there, I think can save a fuckload of channels. Like, a fuckload of them. Like, I honestly believe that would save so many of them, because under those 3 revisions, I already completely removed the vagueness and gave you the basic idea of what you can and can't do. Okay, so I think I've ranted on for long enough. I'm sorry for this long rant, but this is a serious issue, and I believe we should all take it very seriously. And I hope that with the petition being signed and everything, I hope my video gets spread around. I hope people spread around the others' videos on the COPPA situation, because we need to make sure that this is fixed. Because YouTube could be done after this, honestly. Think about it. Think about how many problems YouTube has been already. And now it's going to have potentially another apocalypse. Can YouTube survive that? And if YouTube survives that, I mean, YouTube doesn't survive that, imagine how many jobs are gone. Like that. All of those. all of those jobs are just instantly gone. Okay, so once again, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a nice night.